morning. I would like to share with you a no fail, no mess, every time pie crust method that I have stumbled across that will revolutionize the way that you make pies. I know it has for me. So the first thing that you need to do is to get a plastic grocery bag like this one. And you just take your scissors and you're going to cut this bag open flat. So you're going to cut down the sides of it on both sides. Open it up. Cut open those little pockets on the inside that give its shape at the bottom. And so your bag, when it's opened up, opens up completely flat like this. Okay, then you're going to lay it down writing side to the counter, and the reason for that is because sometimes the ink on the bag will rub off on your pie crust, and even though I don't think it actually would hurt you, it doesn't make your pie crust look very good. So the next thing that you want to do is you want to use your pie crust recipe, and you can use any recipe that you want to. That's the beauty of this method. You don't have to use my recipe. My recipe, though, is just the classic pie crust recipe. 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 2/3 cup of shortening. Now the shortening is important. You can use lard. Lard, it makes a very good pie crust, but if you're conscious about not consuming too many animal fats, you may want to use all vegetable shortening, and you want to use a good quality shortening because some shortenings can make your pie crust tough depending on how stiff they are. And margarine doesn't make a very good pie crust recipe because of its water content, and you don't want to have too much water in your pie crust. So then you're going to want to take a pie crust cutter. Looks like this. You can buy it any place where kitchen utensils are sold. If you can't find one of these, you can cut it in using a fork or some other method. Even use your hands. It's not the best way, but you can do it. And you want to cut this flour into the shortening until the shortening resembles coarse cornmeal. So it doesn't take too long to do this, but you want to keep at it until all of the shortening pieces are cut into the flour. You don't want to be able to see any particular shortening pieces. You want to only be able to see the flour. It's going to look very coarse, like this. Let's see if you can see it. So, okay, once you've done that, then you're going to want to take 5 to 7 tablespoons of very cold water. It can be ice water or water that you put in your refrigerator, and depending on whether you live in a humid climate or a dry climate, you're going to use between 5 to 7. So then you start with 5 and put your cold water into your shortening flour mixture and begin to stir. Okay, you can always add more water. It's hard to take it out once it's in there, though. So you're going to want to take your fork and you want to get this, make a ball with the shortening. And you want it not to be dry. You don't want it to be gooey either. So that's why you want to add just enough for it to make a ball. Okay, and once it's all cut in, then you're going to form a ball with the dough here, the pie crust dough. Okay, this is perfect. Okay, and this is what it looks like. Okay, and then you're going to want to cut it in half and put half of it back because we're going to make a 2 crust. We've got the 2 crust recipe, top and bottom crust. Okay, and then you're going to want to make a round with it. You're going to flatten it so that it kind of resembles a huge hamburger patty. Put it down on the plastic that you flattened out. Okay, and then you're going to want to take the plastic and put it over the top so that your pie crust is actually in between the bag on the inside. Okay, then take the edge of it and just slip it over the side of the counter and hold it with your stomach so that the bag doesn't move around when you're trying to roll it out. Take your rolling pin and you're going to want to roll this circle out into a much bigger circle. You do that by rotating the bag around as you roll. Okay, and you want to keep rolling and rotating until your pie crust circle becomes about 1/2 inch larger than your pie crust, or your pie plate, I mean. And once you get it as large as you think it needs to be, you can always check it out by taking your pie plate and putting it over the top, and mine's just fine. Remove the top of your bag so that the crust is exposed now to you. Okay? Then you want to take your pie plate, turn it upside down on top of your crust, and slide your hand underneath the plastic, lifting the whole thing up so that your crust is actually in your pie plate, and flip it over. Okay? And then you want to, with the plastic still on your crust, you want to mold it to the shape of your pie plate. And if you didn't get it quite on just right, as I didn't get this one on just perfect, you can move it around because the plastic actually gives your crust stability. Okay, mold it and remove the plastic carefully. You don't want to rip the edges. Once it's away from the edges, you can just peel it right off. It's pretty easy. Okay? And then once you have that, then you can see how that your crust is perfectly on your pie plate. Set it aside, or actually you can put your filling in. Mine is apple, so just spoon it into your pie plate here. This looks really good. I'm getting hungry. Okay. Okay, very good. All right. And set it aside while you make the top crust here. So once again, lay your bag out on your counter and take the other ball of dough that you had waiting, make it into a round again, and put the top over the top. We're just repeating what we just did. So you didn't quite get it the first time, you can do it again. Again, your pie crust is in between the bag. And you're rolling it out. This doesn't really take that long. And you're rotating. Okay, I think this is just about right. Super. Okay, and then next you're going to remove the top again, but this time you're going to put it right back on it. And you're going to flip it over and remove the bottom too. And you're going to do this because you're going to be putting it on top of your pie filling, and you want it to be easy to come off. Okay, so there you go. Now you're going to want to slide your hand underneath the crust again. It's like this. The bag is still on one side. Get my pie over here back in front of you. And now you're going to take your crust that you have here and center it over your pie and flop it over. Now the nice thing is, if you didn't get it quite right, if it isn't quite on there and there may be a gap between the crust and the edge of your pie, you can actually move this around because the plastic is still on there. So you can just pick it up and move it around. You can even take it off and start over again. You know, what if you didn't get it big enough? You can take it out and roll it out some more if you need to, because you didn't ever take the plastic off. The plastic gives your pie crust stability. So we're going to put this back on, and then carefully again remove the plastic. Now here's the nice part. See this bag here? You can just throw that in the garbage. I don't have any flour mess on my counter. My rolling pin is still clean. Everything's nice and clean because I did it all on that one bag. Now that, to me, is true recycling. Okay, take your scissors or a knife, and you're going to cut your pie crust all the way around so that it extends beyond the edge of your pie plate about 1/2 inch. Okay, let's see if you can see this. So you're just trimming it all the way around. And then once you have your pie crust trimmed all the way around, then we're going to turn it under so that your filling is completely encased in this pie crust. When you stick it in the oven and it bubbles up, it's not going to come out and get all over your oven, hopefully. Okay, so then you're going to take your pie crust and you're going to lift it up and slide it under, fold it under, both of them. Okay, and you're going to do this all the way around your pie. And then when you're finished doing it all the way around your pie, you are going to crimp the edges down. So press it down all the way around, make it nice and smooth. And then you're going to want to take your 2 fingers and you're going to put it down there and you're going to fold it up in between. That gives the nice classic little pie shape that you see on all your classic pie pictures. Okay, so I'm going to finish doing mine here. And then the last thing that you want to do while making this pie is to vent your pie at the top, your crust, because as your filling heats up, it's going to create a great deal of steam in there, and that steam has got to go somewhere, and it'll actually lift your pie crust right off, separate it at the seams, and all your juicy, yummy pie filling is going to come spilling out all over your oven, and you are not going to be a happy person. So you always want to make sure you vent your pie. So I vent it usually by making a shape, like little wheat design. You can also put the initials of your pie up there, like A for apple or whatever. You can actually make a little apple. You can get real creative. Okay, there you go. And then finally, just a tiny bit of sugar. Some people like to put milk on the top of theirs. Sugar gives it more of a pastry look. Milk gives it a more flaky look, so it depends on what you like. Okay, so here's your pie when you're done. It's very beautiful looking. And then you're going to put it in the oven, 400 degrees for about 50 minutes, and you will be rewarded with a perfect pie that is beautiful. You can see through the glass here. It's crispy, it's flaky, it's tasty. I'm looking forward to eating that. Now I have no mess on my counter. Counters are clean, rolling pin is clean. Cleanup is really fast and easy. I love this method because it has transformed the way that I do pies. I no longer have split crusts and broken crusts and frustration. When people ask me to make pies, I don't get flustered because I know that it's going to be probably a half-an-hour process from start to finish, except for the baking time. And I'm done. It's very quick, and people absolutely love my crusts. They say I make the best pies. It's not my recipe. It's my method. Give it a try. It'll transform the way you do pies, and it'll also transform the way you think about making pies, too. So happy pie making to you.